We are going to sort our different Gutenberg blocks in plugins, because this way it's easier to keep the code more tidy and manage the function. As you can see, this is my Gutenberg test website. I got the local copy running. This is the front end and the back end. It has nothing special. This is the default installation. So for starters, I will need to install the atomic block theme. Okay. Oops, maybe not. Maybe I'll have to download it. Atomic blocks, because this is a theme that we will use just to keep, because of the other plugins that we are going to do down the road. We are going to use this theme, so I'll just go and install it, okay, just to make it quickly. And it's a theme that supports the Gutenberg, so it's a really updated theme, one of the best to work if you are using now the blocks and Gutenberg. If you want to develop custom blocks, it's the best theme. There are others, okay, so it's a bit of personal opinion also, but it should be good. Oops, not this. There's also a plugin where they have some other pre-configured blocks for Gutenberg that you can also download. Links on the description as usual. And I'll upload the theme, activate. Now over here on the plugins, add new, upload plugin, drag and drop, because now it is plugin. And it can give you also some good ideas for you to develop your own blocks, okay? So let's wait for it to happen. I think I got the theme activated. I'll just, yes, it should be good. Let's see, yep. I like it more, okay? There's a bit of personal taste. Now, so let's build our first plugin, our first block, okay? So the website is running over here. I'm working with Visual Studio Code, okay? It's free, it's awesome, and it works fine, okay? Because this is not a very, let's say, complicated code, okay? So I think Visual Studio kind of performs the job very well, okay? So I got the project open over here. If you don't already, open up Visual Studio Code, go to File, and open Add Folder to Workspace, okay? And then you will add the folder where your website is running, okay? So I already got mine here. As you can see, this is the WordPress default root. Now, let's open up WP Content, plugins. As you can see, we have the atomic blog, and we'll start by creating a new folder, because this is where our plugin will reside. I'll click on the new folder. And even though this is not really good practice, okay, I'll just type a 1 just so we have an order on the plugins that we are going to create, okay? So go on, hello world block. In a real life situation, I would not do this, okay? So this, because we are not supposed to start with a 1. Even on plugin names, on the strings, integer, on variable names or object names, okay? Now, right click, new file, and call it index.php, okay? So this will be the file that WordPress will look for this plugin. And we can start right away by typing the PHP. This is just to list the plugin, okay? And plugin name will be hello world. Enter a description. Our first okay. Let's just save this just to confirm that it's running. It's showing over here. Go to plugins, install plugins. As you can see, it's right over here. Perfect. Okay, you can activate it right away. So remember that when you create a plugin, it's disabled by default. So you will need to come to plugins, install plugins, and activate the plugin. Now, let's go to pages. And I'll delete the sample pages. We don't need this. Ciao. And I'll create a new page. I can call it okay. Hello. Publish. And just to make it easier also, let's make this the default home page. Okay. As you can see, we have the page over here, but we can go to settings, reading, and define it as a home page. Hello. Okay. Now this way, it's right over here. Hello. Okay. This is where our blocks will go, the front end of our blocks. Okay. Now let's open up the page. And as we have seen already, we add new blocks by clicking here on the plus sign. So the goal is to create blocks that will show up right over here, okay? And we are starting right there. So we are going to start by defining the block behaviors that we will define inside the JavaScript file. As you can see, this is a PHP file. This is where we will load the files that are needed for our block. And well, maybe as you know, it's also good practice to disable the direct access to PHP files. And we'll do this on every file, and you should do it also by denying absolute paths to the file. If it's a direct path, just exit the file. Okay, so this is just to avoid some malicious users trying to access PHP sensitive information. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we need to load a file, the JavaScript file that we are going to create. We also need to give it a unique ID. Remember that each block has a unique ID. We'll specify the path to the JavaScript file. And we can also define the block. We will also define the block components that it will use. Okay, so to start this, we are first going to create the function. And we'll call it Gutenberg boilerplate block. There we go. And close. And right down here, we are going to call it add action. This is a hook. We're going to call it initialization. And we'll just type the name right this from here. Okay. So we are initializing this function just for it to load over here and even on WordPress overall. Okay. Now enter. First thing that we need to do, well, we need to register the script, the JavaScript file, because most of the block will reside inside that JavaScript file. So we'll start with WP register script, okay, then curly braces, and now it's where we need to define our handle, and this handle must be unique. Okay, we'll go for, oops, not this way, inside the brackets, Gutenberg boilerplate EC5. We will use this format, okay? And we'll just type it as step 01, okay? Comma, then we will define where the plugin is, the file is, and we'll name it block.js, and also the file over here, then one more comma, and we will also set the components that we will use. For now we are just using these ones, but further down the road we will use another more components. Okay, I think this is it. And now we also need to register the block type, and this also must be a unique ID. Block type Gutenberg. You can change these names, but notice that you need to know and repeat exactly the same handle across the scripts, because if you don't, then Gutenberg WordPress will not know what the scripts are. Array. Let's see if I don't get lost. No, I think it's okay. And we'll say the editor script, and this is the script that will load, the handle for the script that will load on the editor side. Okay, for now we just have the script. Now I'll give it a quick check, save it. Nope, something is wrong. Okay, this shouldn't be here. Yep. More like this. Our PHP file should be ready to go. If you're having issues, I mean, the code is not too complicated, but if you're having issues, you can also download it from the resources. But as you can see, it's pretty simple. We are creating a hook, okay, over here that will happen on initialization of WordPress. That will call this function. That will load the block.js script that we are going to create it right now, and also registering the block type that we will use. Now let's tackle the JS part, the React component, and right over here, right click, new file, and as we have said, block.js. Okay, open up. I can close this one. Here we will define the user interface and the data that will be saved. We will set some basic styles, specify the plugin parameters, and show some text on the back and front end. We'll start by creating the element and register the block type. And as you can notice, this does look a lot like React. We're calling the root elements, comma, okay. We'll register the block type. The blocks. Register block type. And we will also set some styles just to make it easier to identify our new awesome block. Feel free to change the colors. And also some padding. Okay, perfect. I'll just close this. Should be good. Okay. And now this data will show on the pages on the backend and editor, as we have seen. We are going to register the block type right now. Okay, so we are picking up the block type, and we'll add the components, the parameters to it. So register block type, and over here we'll type the handle, and it's the big name. We want to make it unique, so 5, and this is just a hello world step 1. Okay, I'll open a curly braces over here, and we'll surely start with the title. Okay, title, the hello world icon. We'll also need to set an icon. I'm using the universal access hold icon. All the icons are available right over. Let me just show you the link over here. You can change the icon. You could choose another icon. Just remove this. Okay, you only want this. Imagine that you want the store icon. Just type store over here. Okay, we'll just type store. Okay, remove the dash icons. So if you want to change the icon, this is the source of the icons to go. If you are using WordPress icons, I mean, you can also use icons from another source or sources like Font Awesome. Okay, comma, then the category, as we have previously seen, the layout components do have categories. I'm going for the layout. And for now, the core of our plugin will be pretty simple. We'll show the following text on the editor. We will show something like hello editor. Okay, so we'll type edit and create a new function. Okay. Curly braces. And we'll return an element, el. That's a paragraph with the style that we have set right over up there. Style, it's the block style. It's the style that we have created right over here. Okay. Style block style. I think that's it. Just after the curly braces close, I'll go hello editor. This is the text that will show on the editor side, on the back end of the website. Okay, I can give it some spaces over here so it stays. And I'll copy these 3 lines. Okay, right click, copy, and paste. Because we are going just to make some minor changes over here. Instead of the edit, we'll have save. And over here, hello world front end. Because what we are going to do is, when we save the data that it will save will be just this one. It will be a paragraph with the style that we define over here and with the text hello world front end. So this is a text that will show right on the front end. Let's also make this look a little better, right? I'll save it, and right over here I'll refresh the page. Okay. Go to the plus sign, and you can search for the block we just created. The title is Hello World, or you will find it on the layout elements.dev. Click on the icon, surely, and as you can see, the text that we have defined for the editor shows right over here. And if you update the page and go and check it out, as you can see, it shows with the text that we defined for the front end. Okay, so this is a pretty static block, Gutenberg block. Nevertheless, it's a working Gutenberg block. And as you can see, it's not like really straightforward to understand, but as long as you keep on practicing, you'll see that's something that you'll easily get the hang of it.